So as always, before we get started, we're going to take a look at your oracle cards. And Capricorn, this week from Le Vampire, you pulled Primal, Connecting Deep Within, Sacred Dance, and Instinct. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Impasse. Now, Primal from Le Vampire, to me, is like the nightlife card, going out and having a good time. Primal and Maenad are the two cards in this deck that, for me, talk about going out. But Primal is really about tapping into the primal part of your soul and expressing it through dance. So it's like nightclubs, right? Going out and having a good time. But for some reason, you guys are feeling a block. It's like you're wanting to tap into that, but Impasse is saying that there's a block happening. Impasse is not the universe telling you no. It's just saying that there needs to be a different path taken to your goal. Like your goal is still there. It's just there needs to be a different way to maintain it or get to it. And this card always reminds me of my GPS going, recalculating, right? And you guys aren't the only ones to pull that this week. But for some reason, some of you may be feeling a block when it comes to expressing that primal part of yourself. All right, Cap. Here is the energy coming through. The Six of Coins, the give and take, giving and receiving. You are only going to receive what you put into something. This is saying that there needs to be an openness with you as well. But there's, this feeling here of you receiving something. But then I look at the purse and I think of the money coming in and the money going out. But really, you're only ever going to receive what you put into something here. And that is the big thing with me when I see this card. Now, in the past, the Two of Swords. So some of you in the past were at like a crossroads. There was a decision that needed to be made and it was difficult. It was a difficult decision. In some cases, some of you may be blinding yourself to situations that are happening and not like really dealing with it. Some of you may be guarding yourselves emotionally. But this is minor coming out of the past. But in order to receive anything, there's a need here for you to make a decision and start taking action. But seeing the Three of Wands fall out is fantastic. So we shall see, but in the past, it's saying you had to make a difficult decision. In the present. So, when you're looking at that and then you look at the Knight of Coins in the present condition, especially with the Six of Coins, you start laying down some plans here. And there's this earth energy. It's nice. But the Knight of Coins is slow. It's slow. And it goes back to the Three of Wands too. There's like this period of waiting for things to start coming together. But with the Knight of Coins, you're laying down the plans. You're starting to work towards stability. It's like you made a decision on what you needed to do, and what you decided to do was to really lay down some plans before you start doing anything. Future conditions, strength, that's beautiful. So strength is about tapping into your inner strength and dealing with difficulties, but there's a need here for you to use gentle force, right? It's about tapping into your inner strength and your inner grace. And your ability not to get out of control when it comes to difficult situations that are happening. But having strength to be able to make difficult decisions is perfect, And if you're laying down some long-term plans between the Knight and the Three, it's definitely going to pan out for you. But again, with the Six of Coins, you're only ever going to get what you put into something here. But you're headed in the right direction. Your best path to follow, the Nine of Coins. So looking at this is really talking about you being self-reliant. The Nine of Coins isn't just about like enjoying the things that you have in your life or enjoying the finer things, right? There is you being independent and self-reliant. The security that you create for yourself is going to be through your own efforts. You are responsible for creating your own stability, and you're doing that. and you're planning it. But this is out of difficult situations or difficult decisions needing to be made. But you're pulling on strength. Beautiful. It's beautiful. But this being, Spirit's advice to you goes back to, you being able to create your own stability. You are responsible for that. And in your environment, the Chariot. Wow. So, where you may have been like at a crossroads, it's like now there's momentum forward here. The Chariot is about getting control over those opposing forces, and that is internal. That is dealing with your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, your actions, getting those puppies to go in the right direction. And there's victory here, and it's in your environment. But it's like it starts off slowly, but once you start getting control, things will start moving a little bit more quicker. And again, with the Three of Wands and the Chariot, some of you traveling, doing some traveling. Your hopes and your fears, and your reading and Saggy's reading are so like, these are like light energies, nothing really heavy happening here. And it's not bad at all. The Nine of Wands and your hopes and your fears is you being persistent. You still got some fight left in you, right? It's suggesting that you faced difficulties in the past, but you're willing to continue to fight for the things that you want. And, it's you. There's independence here. Right? But that's minor. It's minor. You may have faced some minor difficulties, but you're overcoming them beautifully. And then the outcome, the moon. Wow. The moon is the outcome. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the block that's happening with you being able to tap into the primal part, right? Like, in seeing the impasse here. The moon is the card of the subconscious. The water is the subconscious. The crustacean coming out is our inner fears, our deepest fears. And there is a need here for you to face that. There's like a part of yourself, I think, that's blocked when you're talking about primal and impasse that you need to face and deal with. The moon, traditionally there's confusion, there's anxiety, there's fears, but there's a beauty to this. There's a beauty to the moon. But the big thing here too, other than paying attention to your dreams and your intuition and being able to tap into the subconscious mind and facing down your inner self and your inner fears, there is also a part here where what we see under the light of the moon is not going to look the same under the light of the sun. And when we're talking about primal and the nightlife, right, a little bit of caution. But the moon coming out, I think you're tapping definitely into something a little bit more primal in the subconscious mind and dealing with the impasses in a much different way, where there's this practical energy. It's like you get control over that, but then start working on things like on a much deeper level with the moon. And this is all internal for you guys. Externally, I don't see anything that is going to be like major this week. I just think that, if you guys are looking to start tapping into a different part of your soul here, the primal part, you gotta go where that resides, right? In the subconscious mind. And start getting rid of those blocks. But you're doing it with strength. These two, like this, remind me of, a book that I have called The Book of Nightmares. And it's about facing those parts of yourself that come up through dreams in the subconscious mind and having the strength to face down those fears. And I think that's where you're headed here. It's like you take a step out of the practical and you start dealing with the other realm. But, there's like this need to be open, and it may have to do with you being open to receiving, intuitive nudges and deeper messages from the subconscious instead of being focused so much on the practical. But, Spirit is still saying that your own independence and security is based on your own actions. But if you're dealing with things internally, there's a need to go to the subconscious to fix that. All right, Capricorn. We're going to take a look at soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. But where you're facing, an emotional blockage with the Two of Swords, your plans start to change here. You're finding inner strength. You're receiving control. And, being able to enjoy things in your life. And it's through your own independence. But, with the moon, something deeper. There's something deeper that has to be faced there. All right. And prosperity. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. With the Nine of Coins, definitely. Risk. Communication. That is going to come through for some of you through the subconscious mind, receiving some communications here, but risk. I would like to think that some of you are taking a risk here, and instead of looking at the practical, you're looking, again to the subconscious mind. But whatever risks you take are going to lead you to prosperity. When you're looking at this at the mundane level and the day-to-day and the practical energies, if you take a risk, you're going to see prosperity for sure, for sure. But I would pay attention to the communications that are coming through with the subconscious mind. It's like this last part of the reading was pointing to something a little bit deeper, I think. But overall, beautiful. And prosperity, hell yeah, hell yeah. All right. And finances and career. Yeah. So flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. If I could speak today, be flirtatious in your relationships, especially if you're with somebody and you're happy. Flirt with them. Make them feel good. Right? Finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. And I think for some of you, it's more about the fact that I think if you're in a relationship, there's something important about your own independence and your own ability to create your own stability. And it's like Spirit recognizes that. But don't let it affect your relationship to a point where you're not open to, being that lighthearted lover, right? But overall, this reading, Cap, it's easy peasy. You guys in Sag were nice and smooth. I just think for some of you, there's importance here with what you may be seeing in your dreams, and there's a need to face down whatever fears you may have. The communications that come through from the subconscious mind are going to benefit you greatly. And whatever risks you take financially, you're going to see prosperity. And I think that's fantastic. Okay, Cap. So I'm looking at this reading and I'm seeing you receiving two very different things. One is practical and one is very spiritual. The Six of Coins, again, whatever you put into something is what you're going to get back out. But I feel like you're receiving two different things here. First, where you're dealing with difficulties in the past and making decisions, you start laying down some practical long-term plans, and then you receive control. And it's going to be through your own efforts here. There's self-reliance. You are responsible for creating your own security here. And you get control over the situation, and you start making those decisions. And then, with the Nine of Wands here, it's just saying that you've had difficulties in the past, but you are persistent in the fact that you are willing to continue fighting for your own security, which I think is fantastic. Now, the other thing that you're receiving here is way different, and it just kind of threw me for a loop, like, wow, the moon, where is this coming from? But it's neat, because I think for some of you, you're going to be receiving communications from the subconscious mind. For some of you, start keeping a dream journal. Whatever communications are coming through are going to be beneficial too to some of you who have artistic abilities. If you are musically inclined, if you're artistic, or if you have writing abilities, the communications that you're receiving from the subconscious mind are going to benefit you greatly here. But overall, I really like this reading. And then whatever risks you're thinking about taking with, your finances here, through your own efforts and your ability to lay down some practical plans, you possibly could see a lot of prosperity coming through, which I think is fantastic. Now, when it comes to your relationship, finances, career, and flirt. Capricorn has a tendency to be so concerned with the projection, the outward projection of their success, that it could create blocks in a relationship. And flirt is reminding you that if you're in a loving relationship and you're happy, to flirt with your partner. Open up that lighthearted energy where finances and career aren't the constant thing happening in your love life. There's a need for you to flirt as well. And then for those of you who are single, stay optimistic about your love life. There may be a lot of focus right now on your own self-reliance and creating your own security, and some of you may not be seeing an opportunity to find a meaningful relationship. This is reminding you to stay optimistic about that. Don't throw that to the wayside if this is what you're wanting as well as your own financial stability. But what I'm seeing here is like it's two different sides. And I'm really interested in what happens with the moon communications that are happening. But overall, this is a beautiful reading. But remember here, whatever you put into something is what you're going to receive. Even if you're receiving two different things, it's worth putting in the effort.